the story of my life. Mikael Avatar here. I want to tell you the story of my life. It begins before I was born. The story of my life, Mikael Avatar here, it begins before I was born. Can you imagine? Your life too begins before you were born, in the mom's stomach. I was born different from most of the people, different in a way that my health was not the same, my body was not the same, I couldn't speak, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do a lot of things in the beginning of my life. This is my adventure, my exploring of the world, and it started before I was born. My father did some stupid things. He was drunk, he was angry, and he came home to my mother and she beat her. And the same day I was born. And I'm so happy it happened in one way. In another way, I have no clue how my life had been if this have not been happening. I have no clue. But I went on an adventure to finding out who am I, what do I want to do, what do I want to see, what do I want to learn in my life. This is the story about that. So I came out. When I was 4 years old, my hands was like this, my feet was the opposite of Charlie Chaplin. If you know who Charlie Chaplin is, he had his feet out and I had my feet in. You know, I was running around and I saw this incredible movie about this guy who climbed Mount Everest. So it came up to me, I want to be a mountain climber. So I ran to my mother and told explanation, I want to be a mountain climber. She was very diplomatic and she told me, oh, you can't really make money on that. So I ran away and with my feet, but she was really wrong. I did climb mountains. I was a rock climber, instructor. You should see the eyes from the people when they came to the rock, and there was like 30, 40, 50 meter high rock. And I was the instructor. There was nobody else there. And I taught them to climb rocket climbing. And their eyes was like, it's indescribable how they felt. So I did earn money on mountain climbing, not much, but still I earned money. When I was 7 years old, my hands were still like this, and I wanted to do what my neighbor did, my best friend, and he was training judo. In judo, you have to stretch your body, you have to have balance, and when your feet are opposite of Charlie Chaplin, you really don't have balance to stand very well. You have to put out your feet, you have balance, you have to grip. I couldn't open my hand, So you have to really grip to have balance. And my mother said, "You're insane. You can't train judo. It's not for you. Forget it." Because when you're 7 years old, you really need to understand that the world is not a pleasant place to be. You have to learn about difficulties. You have to learn about things so you can prepare yourself for living a good life. So she told me it's not possible. But the 7-year-old me, I was persistent and I was convincing. And I took my mother to the judo instructor and convinced her to train judo. And the trainer was very interesting or polite or excited because he saw something in me. I was a fighter. I survived my mother's beating when my father beat her. I was a survivor. I was passionate of learning judo. So I throw people. I was 7, but I was good because I was persistent and had passion. So I trained judo for 13 years. I got my balance, I got my hands so I can open, grip them, I can throw people, and I train sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. But really, I didn't know judo will create a good thing for me in life. To put on my feet, to learn my hands to open, and so on. I didn't go there because I wanted to be better in my body or whatever bullshit people think. I went there because my neighbor was training judo and he was my best friend. He stopped judo, I continued for many years after him because I was passionate about it. Around the same time, when I was 7, I had this crazy idea, I saw this paper on the wall that you could take piano lessons. Piano. I wanted to play piano. Don't you want to play piano when you were little? I wanted to play the piano. So I went to my mother, "Mom, I'm going to learn how to play the piano, and they have this free lesson in the school in the afternoon. Please, can you help me go there?" And she was like crazy. "You're insane. Your hands, you can't open your hands, you can't play the piano. It's insane. You shouldn't." And she tried to convince me that I couldn't do it. But I didn't listen to her. I didn't listen. And we went there, and there was storm, and there was like, I think 1/2 meter snow. You couldn't drive the car. And so we had to walk in this big snow, and I was so happy because I was going to learn to play the piano. And we went to the coast, and it was crazy because first we had to sing for 1/2 hour or 41 hour. I don't really remember. I couldn't sing, and it was like songs about God and stuff like that. But I tried to sing, but I couldn't breathe right. I couldn't push out my air. I talked inhale, not exhale. So it was very hard to sing at that time when I was 7. So really it was a struggle. But after I could sit in the lap of the teacher on the piano, and he tried to bend out my hands so I could play the piano, but it was really insane, totally insane. So it didn't work out. I think I was there one time, maybe 2 times, but in the second grade, first year, second year in school, I applied to the flute lesson, because when you do flute, after that you can go to the music school. So I played flute for 1 year, 1 whole year. I think I was there every time. I buy my flute, I couldn't open my hand, so I couldn't put my finger right on the hole in the flute. I couldn't blow, but I was going to the music school because I wanted to learn the piano and I wanted to learn to play drums. That was my goal. So they called me that you should apply for the music school of the 1 year. Can you imagine the teacher teaching me 1 year to play the flute? Insane. But I was committed to do this. So I came to this day and I tested all the instruments, the bass tube, the guitar, the piano, the drums, and I was terrible. I couldn't open my hand, I couldn't blow. And the principal of the music school told my mother, how about singing? And my mother said, what about singing? Yeah, because if Michael can learn how to sing, he can learn how to breathe, and then he can learn how to speak better, because nobody really understands me. Maybe people don't even now understand me, but I speak more clear now than I did before, because I breathe and talk on exhale and not inhale. So I applied to this music teacher, special music teacher. His name was Abdel Rahman El Khatib, and there was a long waiting list to come to him. But I came there, I don't know, 1 year, half year. I have no clue how long it took before I came there. Maybe I was 8 or 9, something like that. And I had 20 minutes with him. And to take off my hat, it was in the winter, so we didn't have snow, and take off my jacket, and prepare to go inside. 10 minutes had gone of the music lesson because I couldn't get off my clothes very fast, my shoes. But within 10 minutes, I had my hand on the piano with this magical music teacher. And then I played some music. He was Arabic from Egypt, so we played, I think it's called Selma. And on the piano, in my world, I played in the right, doom, doom, doom. In his world, I didn't. I don't know. But I played every note. And he was so affected by this. He couldn't sleep for many days. Who is this little boy coming into my life? And he played a very complicated Egyptian song, folklore, the first time like that. So there our friendship, my music coaching started, and it was like 10 years with him. After a while I got half an hour. I even had 40 minutes with him 3 times a week. Normally when you have half an hour or 40 minutes in music school, it's only for people going to higher music school. But I have 40 minutes 3 times a week with him. I learned drumming. I learned play the piano. I learned open my hand. I learned how to breathe. He told me, it's not the world championship in boxing. You have to open your hand. Your body cannot stand like the tower in Pisa in Italy. You have to stand right. You can't walk past a mirror without straightening up your body. And he played me for years like this. When he finally retired, age of 65 years, I think I was in the 17 or 18 years old. I had a piano. I played Fugetta in a big audio hall with 500 people. It was a Fugetta in 7/8 piece. I don't know how to say it in English. It was not 4x4, it was 7x8. It was a long piece on the, not on the piano, on the big flygel, it's called in Swedish. I don't know the English name, maybe I write it in the movie. So that was like an exam. It took me 25, 30 years, not 25 years before I started making music again. I really missed the passion, but when I started again, the computer world, I was taking over. You do everything on the computer, you do all, it's like a music production today. When I was learning music, it was analog, and you have this 4-track tape recorder that you played in your music, very complicated stuff. You had to have a mixer person. It was so complicated making music, make a record. Today you can do it by yourself if you have the right school behind. So 25 years later I took music school, Berkeley Music School in America, had an online course I went on, and then I had a friend in South America who had a 1-year education about music that I also went on and learned the basic to create music, because music is a big part of my life. It's like I can't live without it. I need to create music every week. If I don't do it, I lose my soul. I lose my soul. I think I will put some of my music behind when I'm talking now. I'm not sure, but there will be some music in this movie. So there was this cut when I was 18. And the cut was very drastic. What should I do with my life? I had gone to robotics in the operation machine because in school they told me that computer is very good for me since I can't use my hand. So I went to this school, and then after that I went to more advanced school, but they didn't want me to be there, so they threw me out. People with cerebral palsy can't go to any school they want. There are restrictions. If you're having cerebral palsy in some parts of the world, you're lucky you can go to school. I was lucky I could go to a normal class and so on. But so they threw me out of this higher school, and I started to study for civil engineer. They told me, they give me this paper, if you study math, physics, chemistry, 3 levels in 1 year. You know, 1 level is 1 year, 2 level is 2 years, and 3 level is like 3 years to get a higher education for civil engineer. But I studied in 1 year. Double math, no, I think triple math, double physics, double chemistry. I think only the math was 2 years, and the 3 years doesn't matter, but it was double, and I can't write with a pencil, so I had a friend writing, and I talked how to write and learn the mathematics, physics and chemistry. But in the end, this incredible adventure appeared. So I jumped off. I am not going to be a civil engineer in robotics. So I jumped off because I could go on an adventure, a real adventure, a lifetime adventure. And I took it. Because there was this boat. I had applied for sailing across the world in a sailing boat. But that didn't happen. I remember that Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan should be on this boat to promote this boat, and it was people with different disabilities who was going to take this boat around the world in different harbors to inspire other people. Or I don't remember, but it should go on the UN flag. But this never happened. So this other guy took this boat project to sail across the Atlantic Ocean. So I jumped off the school. I think I didn't do the final test, but I did some of the final test for my school, so I could apply for civil engineer, but I skipped it. And I took a plane to America, to Rhode Island, Newport, Rhode Island, to prepare this boat going across the Atlantic Ocean. I was with cerebral palsy. There was a guy nearly blind. I think he had 0.01 ability to see. So at the night watch, he was doing the night watch. We had a compass, very strong light compass, and he could see, in the night he could see how to steer the boat in the night, but he could see very, very little. So it was me, this nearly blind guy. There was this doctor. He was the district doctor for a part of Sweden, but he had no legs. and there was one lady on the boat, and she had no arms. I think she applied for lawyer later, so she is a lawyer. I don't really know what these people do. This was 1988, so it's 2019 this year, so it's like 31 years ago. And then we had, so it was one me, one nearly blind, one without legs, and there was this lady without arms. We had a chef who was a journalist, we had the captain, we had an American kind of, what do you call, normal guy. And we was taking this boat to Europe. That's an adventure. So we started the trip, we came to the Azores, and in the Azores we had storms. I mean, we had really 3 big storms. One of them was Orkan. I don't know how you say it, but the difference between a storm and an Orkan, you call it category 5 or category 4, I don't know, but it was stormy. Because the scum, the white scum, I don't know if you call it scum, left the way, and then you know it's blowing more than 32 kilometers per hour. It was windy, and the boat was big. It was 72 foot, but still it was very small, and I think it was 3 meters high on the roof to the boat. And when the water is 10 meters above the roof, then it's really big waves. So it's like 13 meters waves, and you glide down and up, and you can see everywhere, and down it's water. It's like walls, big walls of water. So the American, he got scared. So in the normal guy, he went back from Azore. He couldn't handle the rest of the trip, so he fly back. So we went to England alone, without him. We saw sharks, we saw whales, we saw dolphins, we saw everything who is out there in wild life, what you call it. So this was my big adventure, 1988. So I was on the first boat with disability people crossing the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know if some other boat have crossed after that, but they had this world around the world around the race. And there was one boat they wanted me to be here on, since I was experienced with crossing the Atlantic, but it never happened. So I think it's called Volvo race now. Volvo have taken over this world around race. I will not go on a sailing boat probably in all my life anymore. I had never sailed before I went to America. I have never sailed after I crossed the Atlantic Ocean, and that's what I I just do stuff once. Why should you do it twice? I went to the Paraolympic once, not twice. I didn't have the energy to train for the next, and I was injured and a lot of stuff. But so now I need a break. So I will take a break, and after the break I will tell you about the Paraolympics, the great Paraolympics. Bum, bum, bum. I had my break now and I continue. I was talking about my life adventure or whatever I call it, with the music, with the judo, with crossing the Atlantic Ocean. I have always, all my life, gone on adventure, exploring the way of living, and so on. I mean, I was 7 when I wanted to play the piano, and now really I create music, I play synthesizer and so on my computer. You can do whatever you like, you can explore and do your own adventure on your own. Start today. Start today. Yes, start. Don't wait. Why do I do this, Mahoya? Yeah, I go to this new school. I always educate myself in different fields. So now it's time to do something about what I'm going to do when I grow up. I'm 51 years old. I feel like I have so much to explore, so much to learn, so much to achieve. So I'm in a hurry. Not in a hurry, but in a hurry. If you know the difference with being in a hurry, but not in a hurry. The past 10 years is coming up here. In a few months, I've been living in Thailand. I was born in Sweden. I grew up in Sweden, lived 41 of my 50 years. I lived in Sweden. I traveled around the world, but really the longest journey I've been on was the Atlantic sailing, and it was for 3 months, and for 30 days of the Atlantic crossing, we only saw water, no land for 30 days. Water, 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 water everywhere, as long as you can see to the horizon. Incredible experience. So I'm doing this course now in America, online, and I have assignments every day, and I do a mini MBA education. MBA stands for MBA Master Administration, Master of Administration, Business, whatever. You see, I don't even know that. So cool. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I know the exact word. It doesn't matter if I can speak proper. It doesn't matter if I have a cerebral palsy or not. It doesn't matter a lot of stuff. Just do it. Don't care if you don't know. Just do it. And in this course, they force me to look on my life. What's my skill? What am I going to sell to people? What is the key, the source, the core of what I'm selling? The core of what I'm selling is magic. I create magic. That's my core. I create magic so people can create magic. I do this as a public speaker, in my YouTube videos, in my one-to-one coaching, and whatever. I want to create magic. I want to create so people do something. That's my core. So I wrote a piece. I have to check. Wait 1 minute. I have to check here. You see, I wrote like this. Like this I wrote. I'm a motivational, inspirational rocket aiming machine that is unstoppable. You see, I have to practice this. I am a motivational, inspirational rocket engine machine that is unstoppable on stage. Yes, there we have it. And I'm unbeatable in one-to-one coaching. I can really see what people want. Oh, my battery is falling down. I really can see what people want. I can really... I have to do like that. In a one-on-one coaching situation, I really connect to the people with my experience. I grew up with 17 different people, except my stepfather and mother. They came, lived with us, the musicians, famous people, normal people, people from India stayed with us for 4.5 years. I grew up with people. That was my ground for my whole coaching career, for coaching people, because they were so different. They have different system. So I learned different system. That's why I one-to-one can connect to the people I'm talking with, and that's my passion. So I have two main core: public speaking like this, standing in front of the camera, standing in front of the audience, standing with people one-to-one to get them excited, to get them motivated, inspired, whatever. That's my field. So, and that's what I'm selling. You can look in my eyes if it's not true. If you don't believe it, I don't know why you are still watching this movie. But, and I have the track record. You know, you have to have the track record. You have to go from here to be a pianist. You have to go from here to be a rocket climber. You have to go to here, from here to go into the Paraolympic or whatever. Then you can be a motivator or whatever. That's one of the key. I have it all. I was on the first boat crossing the Atlantic Ocean. I have story from story from story and story. I had this guy following me for nearly 10 years. And at the end, he told me I have to give up. What do you mean give up? I thought there would be an end to your incredible stories, but there is no end. It's only continuing. It's new stories. You're creating new incredible stories all the time. And when I moved to Thailand, I had so much pain when I was 40. I couldn't go up in the morning, couldn't put up on my socks by myself. I had people helping me. I had pain. And I came to Thailand. A friend of mine borrowed his house here, and after 3 days, my pain was gone. Gone. What do you do then? You move to Thailand. It took me 3 months to prepare. When I came here, I tested for 3 months. First, I tested living here 3 months, and after that, so within half a year, I was permanently living in Thailand. I left Sweden. I left because I wanted to be pain-free. That's an exciting story. I knew no people here. I had really no money here. I had money enough to buy a car, and then my money was finished. Even my ex-wife bought my furniture for my first home in Thailand. I had really no money, but I needed to be here in the warm, humidity country to create my new life. I didn't want to have pain. I didn't want to cry. I took hot bath every day, 2-3 times in the winter in Sweden. It didn't help me. Here, I can be free. Do you understand what I'm talking about? You have to change all the time. And this friend who followed me 10 years, he told me that you're changing your story time after time after time. New adventure, new exploring, new things happening all the time. And you do it in a way most people don't. Most people don't move to Thailand. It's a different continent without money, and especially if you have cerebral palsy. And I just do it because I need it. I think I need a break again. So I will take a break, charge my battery on my mobile phone, and then I will talk about Paraolympic. I promise you, after the next one, it's Paraolympic. So, Paraolympic. Back after the break. I don't know if I talk 1 hour, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is Uncut with Mikael Avatar. So, I will cut the beginning of every break I take. That's it. But this is Uncut. This is my new thing. I really would like to make it live, but I haven't figured that one out yet, so later. But this is recorded today, the 15th of February, and it will come out today. Uncut, Mikael Avatar from Thailand. And we have been talking about music, Atlantic sailing. I was born dead. 40 minutes I didn't tell you, but my mother got beaten from my father, and I was born 20 January 68. And same year, Bob Demon took this fantastic world record in Mexico City. But my story of my world record is the same. I promised you my Paraolympic story, so here is my Paraolympic story. First of all, to train to a big game, any level, it's consistent training for a long time. And to be able to do that, you must have passion. Passion. I loved sport. I loved running. I loved jumping. It took over my life. Probably I was an addict to training. It doesn't matter. I loved it. It was a big part of my life. I started with judo, and after I came home from the Atlantic sailing, I thought, what should I do now? I can't go to civil engineering school because if I can't choose a lower education, how can I get work after I graduate from civil engineer? I mean, they don't even take me to the school. What should I work with? So, I started with sports. Because when I was 10 years old, I trained with a friend, and we ran between San Marco and Hakas. It's far up in the north of Sweden, lots of mosquitoes. You have to have, not the hat on, but because the mosquito bites you in the head. I was 10 years old, and I remember the first time I was running. I had a bicycle, so I bicycled beside him, and after a few kilometers he stopped, he took the bicycle, and I ran the first time, like exercise running. I've been running a lot, but this was for training. I cut that way. Okay. I have had a cough for a few weeks. I've been too busy. When I'm too busy, I get sick. So I need to calm down my life. But this is uncut. Like I said, probably I don't cut it out. So I was going to run down a hill and up a hill. Maybe not a hill, it was like 100 meters, it's like 200 meters. And I didn't know how to run. You run slowly, but I was full speed down the hill, full speed, and then full speed up the hill, and on the corner. It's not called a hill, it's called a bump. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but you understand. So down, up, on the edge, when you go up there, I was totally tired because I ran too fast. I didn't know to exercise, so I fell down. So I ran around 200 meters. That was my first experience of running, 10 years old. So he was laughing, this guy, and then I took the bicycle and he ran a few kilometers and then he ran back. So every day we went running. Then he stopped the bike and I was running, and I could run longer and longer and longer. In my grandfather's home, we trained in a house there where there were old stuff. So we lifted old stuff, heavy stuff, to do exercise. I was 10 years old. And in the afternoon we looked at the Olympic from Moscow. I think it was Moscow. It was 1980. And that was the first time I really got inspiring. I want to go to Olympic. That's my new goal. So I started training for the Olympic, 10 years old. My friend, he was also training for the Olympic, but he didn't achieve that. He got injured. But his friend came number 3 in Los Angeles 4 years later from this in javelin. So he was really training for the Olympic. And this is a very important thing that you should learn about. If you're going to do something in your life, you need to connect with people doing the same stuff. He was training for the Olympic, so I started to train for the Olympic. So I trained for like 10 years. So back from there, Atlanta, Atlantic Ocean, I started to really train. 88. I was 20 years old. So 88, maybe I said wrong, that I was 18. It was wrong. I was born in 68. So 20 years I crossed the Atlantic Ocean. So when I was 20, after kicked out of the school, after the Atlantic sailing, I came back in the near August. I started training for real for the Olympic because there was the Paraolympic. You know, for 10 years I didn't know that Paraolympic existed for 10 years. So then I know I was in this very close. So it took me maybe half a year, 1 year. I was in the what do you say, Olympic team or sports team for Sweden. It took half a year. I trained in a club. I have to travel like 2 hours every day for a practice. So very quickly I was in the team. It wasn't because there was no competition. Maybe that's true, but I was good. I have been focused on training for the real Olympic for 10 years. And I mean, I trained 8, 9 times a week for 10 years. Seriously. I trained judo, I trained ping pong, I trained track and field, I train and train a lot. I was running in the morning before I went to school. I went up at 4 o'clock doing my homework because the brain is best training schools 4 to 5. 5 o'clock I took my running shoes, went running 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, went home, showered 6 o'clock. At 7 o'clock I walked to the school. I did that for 10 years. Nearly every day. I was a serious training machine. So even if the competition 88 wasn't so strong, I was already a high training athlete. So I wanted to go to this sports school, the head sports school of Sweden, higher education. It took me 1.5 years to qualify because I hadn't the coaching skills. You had to work like 1.5 years, half a year in the sports club or something, so I took that. I worked as a swim teacher, I worked as a orienteering, I don't know what you call running orienteering. I was skilled in orienteering. I even went in the Swedish team of orienteering and won over Norway. This is a long time ago. But still, so I went to this school and I thought we should train 24 hours at the school. We had lessons. I was shocked. We're going to study. Come on, let's train. But anyway, so 92, I missed the Olympic. I know why I missed the Olympic. I talk too much. I couldn't stop talking and they got annoyed, so I didn't qualify for the Olympic. But anyhow, the Swedish national championship was 2 weeks before the Olympic, and the results from that in 100, 200 and long jump would have given me 3 medals in the Barcelona Paraolympic. So I think they chose wrong not letting me go to Barcelona. But it doesn't matter. I was fueled to train 4 more years because I was going to the Olympic, determined. So I trained 4 more years. And one of the best things I did in autumn when I didn't qualify for Barcelona Paralympic was that I don't know if it even was in Barcelona, maybe it was in Madrid. It's a long time ago, 30 years, 28 years. I tested my body. Don't do this. Don't do it. I tested how much could I train in 1 week. How many hours could I train? So I got this work as taking out this dog or walking. So I walked the dog, running the dog, exercising. So I tested. First I started with 100 hours. 100 hours 1 week. Physical training we are talking about, not meditating, physical training. Piece of cake. I was in good shape. So then I raised to 120 hours. It's 164 hours in 1 week. So I remember I stopped around 143 hours physical training 1 week. And I did that for 3 months. Not 1 month, not 2 months. I trained 143 hours per week for 3 months. This was a very good strategy. I had no clue why then, but then I know my capacity. I was a sportsman, experienced sportsman. So 3 months before the Paraolympic in Atlanta, 1996, when we were training in Florida, America, we trained like 60, 70 hours a week, because that's the peak of the training curve. And then you rest into the Olympic. Many people don't know this. So you make like a peak, you train like hell to rest, so your body gets very fit for the Olympic. So when we train 60, 70, 75 hours a week for a few months there in spring to 1996, I knew I have 70 more hours in my body. You understand, mentally I was prepared because I knew I could train 140. So 70 hours was a piece of cake. You understand? So I tell you this so you understand that if you want to achieve something in any field, you really need to go for it 100%. You don't have a 40-hour work schedule if you want to accomplish something big that impacts many people. There is no 40-hour week schedule for those people. You really have to practice whatever you want to do for a long, long time, and it's every day. I knew how to walk up on my feet, never put down your heel if you want to be a sprinter. I know I stretch when everywhere when I walk between training. So this is a picture not so many people talking about. You can hear it from some sports people, but it's very rare. We train a lot. So when I come to the Paralympic 1998, 1996, you see me in numbers. Maybe I'm getting old, I'm 50. Maybe I have Alzheimer's. My wife tell me, or sister, or what I should call her, tell me have Alzheimer's. But, so I was prepared. I was going to Atlanta. My first event was long jump, the first track and field day. There was a big storm, thunder, lightning, so we had to stop the long jump competition 2 times, I think. So really, we were the last people in the arena doing athletics, long jump. The last people. So every jump was on the big jumbotron, and the people did not go home because it was the first track and field day. So it was like 68,000 people, and I was the only one when it was my turn that they were focused on. And to break a world record with 68,000 looking at only you, that's very rare. I promise you, it's very, very rare that a person can accomplish this. And I did it 1996. But that is not really the biggest achievement. I had the world record, I think. I used to check if they took my world record every year. In the beginning I checked every week, but every year. So I think I had it for like 12 years. From 92 to 2004. And the Paraolympic record, I had 4 Olympics. That's 16 years. It's 4 years between every. But the biggest achievement is really not world record in long jump. Kind of not. Because the biggest achievement is to be a finalist in the 100 meter. Because the 100 meter final is the peak of the Olympic. Even if Paraolympic have many 100 meter finals in different blind people, wheelchair people, amputee people, but still the 100 meter final is the biggest achievement you could ever do as a sportsman in any sport. And I had a friend who was training with me. He was training like together, and he didn't qualify for the Swedish national team. So he moved to his born country, Spain, and we met in the semi-final at Atlanta, 1996, semi-final. He was competing for Spain, I was competing for Sweden. And the main coach told me, you have to be before him. I don't care if you come to the final or not. So I ran in the semi-final. I had 13.98. He had 14.03. That's 300 of a second I was before him. And we had one between us on 4.00. So within 300 of the seconds, there was 3 people. And I was the only one qualifying for the 100 meter final. That's a very small margin of error, 300 of a second. So my biggest probably sports achievement is to be in a final in 100 meter at the Paraolympic. That was my Paraolympic story. To have achieved a world record, it's open doors. Everywhere, anywhere, people, wow, here being a world record holder, I don't feel any special because I have had it. I want to prove in this movie that I'm a normal guy, but not normal, because I strive, I think you call it there, to be my excellence, whatever, in music. I don't want to be an average musician. I will not write the next whatever song hits my hit. I write music where I feel I'm passionate about, what I feel I want to achieve in life, what I want to listen to myself. I want to learn the handcraft, if anything you call handcraft of making music. I don't even know if you can say that, but I think you understand what I mean. And I really want you to understand you can make nearly anything possible, nearly anything in life. I mean that. If you pick the way and you follow your dreams or whatever and are persistent in whatever direction you will go, you will survive. I survived moving to Thailand without money. I don't have a luxury life in Thailand, but I'm pain free. How much money is that worth? I have free time. I can go to the beach every day. I don't have a schedule every day. You see, I've been very busy the last 3-4 weeks because many people come here. I get sick. I get too stressed. So I get sick. So I really need to relax. I had free time for 10 years. It took me 3-4 years to learning to calm down from the stress in the Western world in Europe. And then to another 2-3 years to aim for what I really want to do. I want to do art, like paintings like that. I want to do music like you. I will put some music on here, promise you. I want to do videos, public speaking. I want to have people in coaching, going somewhere where they like. I have no clue where I'm going, but I just walk by your side and see what happens. That's my goal. I think this is about it for today. I think this movie is maybe 1.5 hours. I don't care. I had a purpose with this movie. I will reveal later. But if you listen this far, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give a comment, whatever, write something. Was it boring? Was it exciting? Was it whatever it was? Please comment. So I'll see you in my next movie. So this is Mikael Avatar from Thailand, the 17th February 2019. Have a good day.